You need to fight for 3 years to surpass the sales stamp duty, and you need to remember there's 2 components. Is that number 1, this 3 years, what is your holding cost and your yield? Number 2 is that this 3 years from 2025 to 2028, this asset that you have pumped in your down payment plus buyer stamp duty, what is the potential appreciation? Because you need these 3 years for appreciation to happen so that you can create your next liquidity event. That this asset that you have invested the 30% here to turn it into something that allows you to exit, take back your initial investment, plus create a liquidity event for profit so that you can go and buy something that is stronger. We call it the next stronger asset, NSA.
Feeling like a brand new me. For the very first time, I'm right where I'm meant to be. Brand new me.
All right, so welcome back to season 4, episode number 4. Wow, 4-4 Is 4-4 a good number for real estate?
Not bad.
Not the
Depends on
Chinese.
how you see it.
If it's a landed property, is it hard to sell?
事事顺利 what? 哦，有没有事事
事事顺利啊？
事事顺利。
Why is number 4 landed property always very hard to sell?
死哦，死路一条。
事事顺利，你看
Cantonese they call what?
谁呀？
谁耶? Say is but Cantonese people love it. It's like a good number, right?
See, really?
Yeah, 习事嘛 is like
哦
okay. Based on our experience, number 4, 14 or 44 harder to sell?
Hardest to sell.
single digit 4, I
Yeah.
feel.
Hardest to
Hardest.
sell. Landed property.
Yeah.
How about condo? Stack number 4, hard to sell. Or no impact for condos now.
Sometimes I think now condo buyers are quite savvy. They will depends like if it's like at the at the launch stage or at the balance stage, balance unit stage. If it's really the stack 4, but it provides like one of the best layouts, then I think
So the
buyers are
logic
still
will
quite savvy.
overcome the emotional part.
Yeah.
Logic overcome
So
emotion. Okay.
you need to fight back.
Have
fight
you
back.
guys ever sold number 4 before?
No. Stack 4, yes.
Landed,
for condo?
Landed number 4? Never sold
No.
before?
No.
No,
Okay.
no,
I
number
pass
4.
you. I pass you some new listing.
Oh, no.
Let you try. Okay. Hungry Ghost is coming up. Is it an issue now in this new era, 2025 with AI now?
I feel hungry goes actually from like a home purchase perspective. It affects the renovation part more than like viewings or like buying. Because when it comes to renovation, most of the buyers who are really into all this like feng shui and stuff, they believe in all this. They don't want to 动土 on like that day or like that weekend, that week. Yeah,
The
so
Hungry
they
Ghost Festival.
yeah, so they don't want to 动土. They don't want to do any like demolition works. But that is already like
That's renovation.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
How about house viewing?
I think house
You know, house viewing, when I started 18 years back, my clients will tell me, hey, Melvin, Hungry Ghosts don't bring people to see my house. I mean, my sellers, they say,
okay.
because wait, I open the door, do open house, then the ghost will come and see you also.
Wow.
It's possible lah. I mean, depends on the buyer profile also lah. If it's not Chinese,
Yeah.
then most
Yeah.
likely they won't really mind.
Yeah.
Right, hungry ghost is hungry ghost. lah.
But is this still an impact now in these few years when you guys are doing open houses and all? I feel that it's not much of an impact.
Yeah, I mean
already.
recently,
Not really, yeah.
I don't really hear a lot of like that obstacles. Sometimes sellers will still ask, oh, does it mean that like during this period, maybe we should not do viewings
Any
and all
viewings,
that?
yeah, correct.
But I think when we are doing marketing online, the inquiries are still coming in and there's no like specific request to maybe postpone the viewing. to
So
avoid-
viewings are still happening, right?
Yeah, viewings
Yeah,
are still
for you
happening.
guys.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, in fact, like last 2 years, 2023, 2024, I feel like Hungry Ghost Festival, I mean, we are still helping sellers to sell. Buyers are still going out. I feel that people have modernized.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, this is not an episode about superstition. Okay, this is season 4, episode 4. We are back with our property expansion series. So if you are joining us for the first time, go back to episode 1 and 2, because that was the 2 episodes that we talk about a lot of different kind of expansion routes for a couple in their, Daniel, is it in their 40s? 40s, right? Okay. So today we have a very interesting profile. This is a single buyer profile, age at 32 years old. So this profile, of course, is a fictitious write-up that we generalize for most people. We realize that a lot of single buyers, they fall into this spectrum as well, especially at a stage that they haven't hit like 35 years old. They have not unlocked the choice to buy like a resale HDB. But they are also in a season where they have like good high income potential that they can explore private property. So maybe let's take it away with Yong Zhun. Come, give us a brief about today's main star of the day.
Yeah. Okay. So basically today's profile, his name is Darren. He's a young chap at 32 years old. Right. He's earning an income of $10,000. And he's in the tech industry with a high growth career, that means he's potentially climbed to a very high position in his current career. Investment appetite is somewhere in the medium area. And then, of course, the current property is staying with his family. So I presume that he's not married, might be attached, but not married. And he intends to buy a private home with his own name currently. And then his strategy, right, is to buy a one-bedder, probably in the D4 area, Alexandra, Redhill area, and then to rent out and then to plan a second property with potentially doing a decoupling route.
I realize a lot of single buyers love to buy new launch. Do you realize?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
But I think it's also because maybe if they are a single buyer, they are only relying on one single source of income. And unless they are really like super high flyer, maybe like on some special public service route already. But otherwise, roughly around this range of like 10 odd K, maybe as a single name, they're not able to either have the sufficient down payment or be able to loan up to afford like the larger layouts. That's why a lot of them do tend to veer towards the smaller sizes. But I think a lot of them are also like just starting out fresh. They've seen their peers and their friends also buying like newer products. I think there's this like preference for newer, spankier, everything looks
Is it because of progressive payment? Because I realized that a lot of people go and buy like $1.4 million one bedder, but $1.4 million you can still get a two bedder in the resale market.
Yeah.
But why don't they want to own something immediately? They can rent out or they can stay, but they want to buy something brand new, which has nothing wrong because there's benefits to owning a brand new 99 years new launch and progressive and all that. Is it really because of progressive payment that they don't feel the stress of immediately paying the installment? What do you guys think?
I think that's one of it. Another one I feel there's a stronger impact is impact of social media. We don't extravagantly try to advertise on resale market like, oh, there's a resale property that's coming up. But new launches usually because of the entire marketing process, they get to see a lot of these ads day in, day out. And then when they read online, they see like, okay, a lot of people make money out of new launches. That's why they tend to gear towards it. But they don't know enough, to see whether does it make logical sense or investment sense lah. So I think once they get and then of course there's a FOMO effect. Once they reach the show flat, it reaches their turn, then they'll be forced to choose like, oh, it's your turn now. If you don't choose, then someone behind you will really choose. So they will forced to make like a very sudden decision. And that's why they purchase lah. One of the reasons why.
Okay. Because of social media as well.
Social media, I think that plays a big part lah.
Okay. Right. If you were Darren, Yong Zhun, 32 years, how old are you? By the way,
I'm 32.
Oh my goodness!
Hey,
you're Darren.
Single. He's not single.
Oh yeah, but you have already gotten married.
Yeah. So
all right.
A bit of difference lah.
If you were him, would you buy the one bedder at D4? So what does he want to buy?
He wants to buy
a
D4,
one bedder,
a one bedder.
new launch.
He didn't mention whether he want to buy. I guess he's open, right, to resale or new launches.
Can maybe let's talk about like some of the strategies that you guys will recommend to Darren, assuming like let's say he comes and meet you today. Maybe Joanne, you want to bring us through your maybe your first strategy. What will you do? Yeah.
Actually for like single income owners, of course like for singles 30 years odd, there's a couple of different like tracks that they can go down. So I think for like a lot of single buyers, young single buyers, there are a couple of different tracks that they can consider. Of course, right now in our Singapore property market, aside from residential, which is kind of like the bread and butter, there's also that commercial industrial route, which are also options. A lot of investors are also looking into it because there's no ABSD. There's a lot of like flexibility in terms of your purchase. Of course, with that, there are certain restrictions that I think later we will deep dive a bit. For instance, for commercial industrial, you cannot use your CPF. So you need to have sufficient down payment. So option one, strategy one is that one possibility, buy a residential first, and then while holding the residential, at any point in time, once they've built up sufficient funds, they can also choose to divest into a second property being a commercial because there's no ABSD, right? That's option 1. Option 2 is quite the common route that we're seeing in the market. A lot of people just focus on residential and then they flip. It could be a 5 years flip, 8 years flip, but they just focus on residential all the way. Most times, even local Singaporeans choose not to like stack up in terms of the residential due to the ABSD as well. They will just buy, sell this one single property. And that's option 2. And then option 3, which is kind of like the opposite of strategy 1. Strategy 3, you can also choose to go into commercial first because it doesn't affect your loan for a TDSR. Then you can also choose to set up like a company or buy under an individual name, after which then you decide to go into the residential. Generally speaking, strategy 1 and strategy 3, there's a little bit of similarity in that you are committing to both the residential and commercial at the same time. It's just a matter of which one first. Whereas strategy 2, it's mainly like just focusing on residential all the way. Yeah.
The interesting thing about strategy number 3 is that I think nowadays a lot of single buyers, they go and touch industrial or commercial property is because they wanted to pool funds together. Like they want to do like co-investing through a proper company setup. Investment holding company, then you can technically own like a industrial commercial property at a low quantum, maybe like $700,000-800,000. Sometimes if you were to purchase like as an operating company, you can also get a higher loan quantum. So basically, I think that has been like quite a popular option that 3-4 people can pool funds together, then they can own like sort of like multiple industrial commercial property. The only thing is that once you have a substantial portfolio, nowadays banks are of course getting very stringent as well with TDSR. They will definitely ask you to declare like the amount of properties that you are technically guarantor of for all these holding companies. So you have to take note of the TDSR portion as well. Let's maybe talk about like strategy number 1 and 2 first. So Joanne, you want to like go deep?
Yeah. Actually, before that, right, the reason why we map it out in terms of like a timeline and a roadmap is also to illustrate, okay, right now you are at this stage where you are 32 years old, it's the year 2025. If come, let's say, maybe another like 10 plus 20 years later, once it reaches year where you are 55 years old or even 65 years old, what is the ideal aspiration or goal or end goal you want to have in mind? If at that point, we want to have sufficient and meaningful asset portfolio to then pivot again, what strategy should we adopt in order to reach there? So maybe I come to the whiteboard. I just draw and illustrate a little bit.
Hey, Yong Zhun, what are you recommending later?
I have some choices for the the residential portion.
Okay.
This one is I think it's also strategy 1.
Okay, Ken. I thought that you got option 1, 2, and 3. Okay, Ken, let's go back to Joanne.
Yeah.
Well, Joanne is in the mood today to teach.
No, I just want to like
This is the first time I see her using the whiteboard.
主动哦。
Oh, she's on form today. She just did 2 shoots in the morning.
No, just 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock already. I wanted to end at 3 o'clock. Okay. So coming back to the whiteboard, just want to illustrate. Let's say we're looking at strategy 2, which is the residential route. Strategy 1 would be commercial plus residential. And then strategy 3, I think it's your resi plus commercial or the other way around. Yeah. But ultimately, what we want to talk about is which strategy should you adopt in order to hit at this point. The reason why we also draw out this point, age 55, is also because if you're looking at the residential property investment, do take note at the age of 55, your RA will be created as well. This may mean that not 100% of your CPF OA can then go into your property investment. Should you at this point still want to go into property investment, you need to ensure that you have either met your BRS or FRS, depending on whether you're holding on to properties. So at this stage, if you want to have meaningful income, which route will allow you to hit there, bearing in mind, of course, through all these subsequent flips, you want to be able to make multiple flips. Of course, with each round, maybe with some profits, and then you recycle the profits. For the main differences between the 3 strategies, looking at the commercial part, we also want to ask ourselves, in the local scene, is commercial market really one that we can look into that gives us this multiple chance to do this flip? Or is it something that we may have to be prepared to have a longer holding power, could be 10, 20 years before we see some meaningful gains? And then at this point, when we want to exit, let's say maybe we are 49 or 48, if at this point only then we decide to consolidate and go into the bigger property, does it mean that we are also kind of like shortchanging ourselves and limiting ourselves to the possibilities? So I think that's what we want to talk about as well, the growth of the commercial industrial market in Singapore right now.
Joan, will you ever pay ABSD? Second property as a single?
So
Is it worth it?
for me, so yesterday I met a client at the show flat.
Okay.
And they came in, they are currently already holding on to a property in Bukit Timah.
Okay.
They came into a Orchard show flat and they said that
Which
they
project is
were
it?
Grange.
Grange.
It's the balanced freehold 3 units lah.
Okay.
Yeah. They said that they came in and they said that they were already prepared to pay the 20% ABSD, local citizenship.
Why don't they decouple?
Because I think the husband side has some like the loan portion. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think in the market right now, while generally speaking, we do kind of like advise clients that ABSD may not be the most meaningful way to utilize your funds because 20% is still quite a bit of funds. And that difference may actually allow you to maybe jump from like a 2-bedder to a 3-bedder.
How much is the Grange?
Using that funds. Right now, the dumbbell, 2-bed, 1-bath, 710 square feet is about 2.2.
Oh, so
PSF is about
20%.
2008, 3000.
So 440,000 they're willing to pay.
Yes.
Oh, why don't they use the 440,000 to substantiate the decoupling process?
I think right now the husband is also a PR. So even if they decouple and they come out to buy, there's also some funds involved.
Okay.
So
Special situation.
yeah, special situation. And they also have to take into account their daughter's involvement in the whole process as well.
Okay.
So I think in the market, there are some buyers who are prepared, but I think generally for us, we find that there are better ways to make use of the funds. Instead of paying for ABSD, like decoupling is one route. Otherwise, I think the funds could also allow you to maybe jump one tier into like a larger asset type as well. So I personally will not pay ABSD because it also means that my profit margin will have to take into account this additional cost that I have sunk in. Yeah, I have to be making even more profit to kind of like break even as well. Yeah.
Yong Zhun, question for you. What if this client, right, Darren, now he's 32, then he asks you, hey, Yong Zhun, should I wait until I'm 35, not do anything now, and buy a resale HDB? 4 or 5 room HDB flat.
Okay.
Actually, nowadays, I think, the news just came out, right? The government is looking to,
the 15 months.
they already hint already, they might soften, right? Okay, we sidetrack a little bit. This is a very interesting phenomenon. If they hint that they will do it, I think they will definitely do it. They will likely remove the 15 months. It could be because now in the resale HDB market, the 4-room flats are like, I don't know, maybe the same price as 5-room flats already. Because a lot of retirees, 55 years old and onwards, right? Is it 55 or 65? 55,
55.
right? Then you can buy technically
A
the
4
and below.
Smaller.
Right? So I think like maybe the foreign resale flat price has been like inching up so much. Because I was just having a chat with Christina last weekend. She says that now actually the response for 5-room HDB flats and larger is not as fast as last time. Like 3-4 room, maybe easier to move. Like 5-room flats, 900 over 1,000, not as easy. So maybe they want to calibrate a little bit of the pricing. Okay, what will you do? What to advise Darren? Should he wait 3 years to get a HDB instead, rather than plonking into private property now?
Actually, I have a friend who is in a similar scenario because he asked me this question also. Same age as me. And then he asked whether should he wait. But of course, I think the first thing to recognize is what is the risk profile of the client, which is Darren lah. If his risk profile is such that he definitely don't want to put the bulk of his income to be funding the property, then I guess there's nothing wrong in waiting to 35. Because ultimately, sometimes we don't know what are people's preferences in terms of, how much money they want to keep it. They might come from they might be a foreigner. We don't know, and then turn PR, then turn Singaporean. So sometimes the way they're being, the upbringing allows them to think in such a way that, I might be logical, but I might not put all my money into one singular basket.
Maybe you got investment and all that.
Correct. And then he's like, okay, I need some rainy day funds. So even though I can afford based on my current income, but I might not choose that route.
Because they might have other form of commitments.
Correct. So, but just based on purely on Darren, assuming that he's a pro investor, right? Of course, I would say you should buy something now because in your younger years, your loan tenure is of course the maximum. And of course, with your earning power, you're able to, capitalize on the property market in such a way that if you buy to the right one with the right entry price within 2 to 3 years or maybe 5 years if it's a 2-bedder, and then you can like what Joan said, capitalize on your profits and then recycle it into the next one. So that helps your money to work harder for you lah.
So how do you advise your friend?
I told him to buy something now.
Okay.
Then
His income is not bad one lah.
His income is pretty close to Darren.
Okay.
But then he has a partner,
Okay.
and the partner say better not to.
Oh.
Yeah, because
They will all
you never
get-
know what will happen. So you see that it's also very important that who are the people that's around you that's like telling you, better not. Then if you are going this kind of max amount, even though MAS says you are able to afford, but what if this
And
things
they're gonna
happen?
get
What if
married
that
as well.
happen? And then what if you get married? What's gonna happen to us and all that? So eventually he chose but he's not there yet lah.
Oh, but is he getting a BTO? Like getting married?
Sale.
No, not yet. He's not married yet. But
okay.
he already made his choice to wait till 35.
To get a HDB resale?
Yeah.
Oh, then the partner?
The partner, I don't know. I never asked about partner.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, I care for him lah. So
Okay. So he will wait 3 years lah.
he rather wait 3 years.
Then what other funds just go and invest?
Yeah,
or
because the
whatever?
numbers is already done already. He can for sure he can afford at least a 1.3 million.
Okay.
When he first came to me, he said like his budget is 900,000.
Okay.
Then after that, then we went through the numbers. And actually, he can afford 1.3, 1.4.
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay, can. So maybe let's start off with calculating how much can Darren afford first.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
So
let's
we
run
have
through
this-
some live numbers. How do you guys usually calculate?
So for in order to assess like the property affordability, of course, there's two components. One is your down payment. Secondly would be your loan figure. So loan figure, basically, most banks these days quite standard. They just take a look at your income. Here we're just assuming that 10K is like a fixed kind of salary. There's no variable component. Age 32, and with that, based on the current stress test rate that most banks are using right now, 4%, 30 years loan tenure because it's still under the age of 35. There will be a sort of like a TDSR cut from the income. So this is a regulation from MAS to sort of be more conservative, encourage prudency. They will only recognize 55%. That's the current ruling. 55% of your income to impute your loan eligibility. So based on Darren's case, 1.152 in terms of the loan IPA. And if we work backwards, that means that the property price that he can potentially go for is about 1.53. This is assuming that the 25% down payment as well as buyer stamp duty, he has sufficient down payment as well. Monthly mortgage will work out to be about 4.5K. Yeah.
Okay. Can. So what will be some of his choices based on this range?
so what I did was I calculated based on 1.5 million. Maybe zoom out a bit. 1.5 million, 1.6 and 1.7.
Yeah.
So basically 1.5 million is probably the amount that he don't have to do any form of credit financing, like pledging or unpledging wise. So 1.5 million for sure he's able to pay for it. His loan is able to get that amount. But the CPF and cash outlay is something that he has to work on it, which is like around 419,000, right? If it's 1.6, then he will have a pledge amount of which is on the right side.
There's a small shortfall.
Yeah, a small shortfall lah. So
you show some funds.
you show some funds around 20K. If it's 1.7, you show funds around 50K. So based on these three options, these three amounts, basically this is considered maxing out lah. I would say he's maxing out his capabilities in finding both a home and an investment. So the first option that we thought of is actually River Isle, which is in
Very
Condo.
good. How to promote other people listing.
Yeah. So River Isle, I think it's widely discussed in PLB lah. So River Isle, there's a lot of transformation within the Punggol area, which is why I came up with this. And of course, the MR station, which is on the Cross Island line, is going to be up by 2030, 2031. So that is one of the choices.
This is a
And
2-bedder.
This is a 3-bedder.
3-bedder,
1.42.
Oh.
A 3-bedder at 1.42.
Okay.
Layout wise, it's a dumbbell layout, right? Very, very efficient. Very little corridor space. So not much wasted space, I would say. Very comfortable 3-bedder at close to 900 square feet.
Yeah.
And of course, River Isle's lease, it starts from 2012. TOP in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, so the lease starts from 2012. Fairly young project, with lots of growth potential lah, as a 3-bedder. But he did mention that he want D4, right? So the next option, right? Oh, sorry. I also recommended a 2-bedder at the Summit,
Okay.
right?
D16.
D16, right?
How much is it?
Very close to the Bayshore area, where a lot of transformation is going to take place. So 2-bedder. These are probably the only 2-bedder that's
Freehold
on sale.
somehow, right?
Freehold,
Okay.
right? 2 bed, 2 bath, 840 square feet. At 1.55.
Okay.
Layout's very efficient, comes with a utility. And the last one that I suggested is at Echelon, which is 1.7 million for a 2-bed, 2-bath. Actually, 2-bedders within Alexandria and Rio, I realized, right? There are some which are very, very big. 900 square feet for a 2-bed, 2-bath. That's very close to the $2 million mark. Yeah. So I think for him, he definitely have to go somewhere a bit smaller, 700 plus square feet, but it's very close to the MRT station at Redhill. Yeah.
Out of these 3 options, what is your personal favorite and why?
I would choose Summit.
Why?
Reason being because I would want him to buy something which is a little bit more safe. It being freehold, number 1. Number 2, that Summit, usually from what I know, there's a lot of demand for the project and there are rarely good units available from the project.
And the
So-
MRT station is just there as well.
Correct. The MRT station is just there. It has only recently been completed.
Okay.
And of course, surrounding that, there's a lot of big projects within the Bayshore area that is 99 years and they're all quite old. So I think this one stands a very, very good chance in terms of if you want to exit, probably within 5 years, I think that would have one of the more substantial gain. Yeah.
Echelon, 1.7 mil. Do you think the price is peakish?
Yes. But I suggested it's because if he is a D4 lover, I
The
think
price is there already.
the price is
Yeah.
already there.
Yeah. It's like that lah.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, I think in D4 there's much higher quantum, close to 2 mil like you mentioned.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
Two by two,
great. Joanne, what will be your top choice?
So the way I see it is that I basically break it down into like these 2 main portion. At his budget, he can either go for something that is for capital gain or something that is passive income, can help to bring in the rental and all that. For capital gain, typically for our clients, usually we recommend something that is in OCR. You want to target the family profile HDB upgraders. So for this kind of segment at 1.5 mil, right now you can still find like this 3-bedder. And I think this is a premium layout because it comes with a yard as well. 3-bedder, decent 3 bedrooms. All bedrooms can fit queen. And then the size is also 1001. Under 1.5 mil.
Well,
And if
you kept the project name confidential.
I can pull out lah. It's only those few. Okay, to be honest,
It's okay. Keep it
D19
confidential. If you all want to know what project it is, then
Yeah, but to be honest, D19, if you want to find like a premium 3-bedder layout, under 1.5 mil is very, very hard to find right now because a lot of units at this quantum, probably you can squeeze in like a compact 3-bedder, but not the premium 3-bedder with like a utility, with a yard and all that.
Okay.
So I think this is still pretty decent. And if you look at some of the transactions and performance within this project, even those who just bought recently in the last 3 years, they are also able to make double-digit annualized gains. Yeah, so that's just within 3 years holding period. So this is one option. Another option within D19, at 1.5, quite hard to find a 4-bedder right now. So at best, you can only squeeze in a 3-bed premium. This one is not too bad because again, you get a kitchen, you get a utility for your helper, you have a yard and 3 bedrooms. All the bedrooms are also fronting the same side as a balcony. I would say the only downside is that the balcony stretches a little bit long towards your bedroom 3. But if you can look past that, actually this unit also gives you everything that you need. 1012 square feet, TOP 2016. Usually for clients going for something that has an ease of exit, we also recommend them some projects that are not too old as well.
Is this near MRT?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, share with me your perspective. Why are families willing to pay like $1.2 million for like a 4-room flat that just MOP versus this one? Why?
If you look at 4-room flat, actually in terms of the size, to
Or
be
maybe
honest,
1 mil lah, 1.1 mil lah. Just to make it a
1
lower
mil.
quantum.
So for 4-room, typically in the market right now, about 900 odd. Some are also at about 1,000, slightly over 1,000 square feet for the 4-room. So actually in terms of the size, it's kind of similar, maybe except instead of the utility being a utility, it will be a bomb shelter for the HDB. Most HDB also tend to not come with a balcony, so maybe the bedroom sizes are also a bit bigger. So if there are family who really values like the bedroom sizes, That could be one option. Another one, definitely in terms of the pricing wise, if it's like we're comparing 1 mil versus 1.5, then your initial down payment and all that will be much lesser as well. Your stamp duties and all that, when you add them up together, will be lesser as well. Yeah.
I think one of the main thing is location. The $1.2 million four-room flats are definitely in a much more prime location.
Just right beside MRT.
Yeah.
Right beside MRT, very, very convenient. It could have been in Toa Payoh, right? So versus D19, there's for sure a trade-off in terms of location. So I think people who are very pro-location, they might be staying in the outskirts of Singapore for the longest time.
They want an RCR address.
Correct. They want an RCR address. They say, finally, I can move there. Right? So I'd rather pay for that. I don't need the facilities. I've enjoyed my facilities when I'm building up my wealth, and then now I don't require it.
So I think it's a fair comparison in the sense that if they compare like a 1.2 million RCR versus the 3-bedder condo there, they are maybe benchmarking 1.2 versus like 2 mil or 2.2 for a 3-bedder. How about the 4-room flats, HDB near this location? How much are they going for?
4-room actually maybe about 600, 700.
Yeah, so there's a vast difference, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's always like that trade-off between location. But of course, if you think from a point of view like, okay, is the RCR address for HDB at 1.2 mil more important to me? Or if I stay in like D19, just topping up 300,000, I can get a condo.
Yeah.
So you need to balance because this is also a form of disparity, right? I trade off the location, but I get a different product.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I think a lot of people also still find comfort in, let's say, like a slightly lower mortgage. But even though 1.2 versus 1.5, the mortgage might not have too big a difference if I split the P&I portion. But I think end of the day, the seasonality of the person also is very important. Maybe sometimes they already exited a very good profit prior property. They want to just pay off a HDB. Right. Okay. What other options do you have, Joan?
Okay, so this is for like the capital gain route. If the buyer is actually more keen on like the passive income rental game, then usually this is what I would recommend. Near MRT, near malls, or maybe near some international school, you can choose to go for RCR. And for this route, actually you don't really need to gun for like the super big layouts, because to be honest, at 1.5, if you're going for RCR, you also can't get like the 3 and 4 bedders ready. So this is one location that I think the properties here are still doing very, very well along the Aljunied area. So this is RCR already. You have this huge Nexus International School just about 7 minutes walk, and a lot of the buyers or tenant pool here, they actually frequent this area. We're just also about 7 to 8 minutes walking distance to the MRT. And actually from Aljunied, you're just like one stop down to Kallang, to Bugis, to the rest of city area.
This is a 2-bedder.
Yes, 2-bedder, definitely you can get way below 1.5, maybe about 1.3, 1.4. This one option. The other option is the Woodleigh Bidadari area. I think the condos here also benefited a lot because of the Stanford American School here. Previously, this project right here, 8 at Woodleigh, we also sold 2 units, and both buyers actually come for the project here because of the school. And they're all PR.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that draws in a lot of attention. Even for Park Colonial, also had a buyer, bought a 2-bed, 1-bath. Traditionally, we might think that, okay, 2-bed, 1-bath, maybe it's not the very ideal kind of like unit, too small. But because of this location, because of what it can provide to the demand that's over here, I think my buyer that bought like last year, right now they're already making 100K profit, because the neighbor on the same floor, same facing, same size, also just sold 100K higher. So that's within Park Colonial.
Park Colonial, okay.
Yeah, correct. So I think the demand here is really, really strong. Also because this Woodleigh Mall is a new and fresh mall, fresh introduction to the area. It's not just a mall, it's a whole integrated ecosystem. You have the community center there, you have the hawker, you have everything that you need right there. Very, very self-sufficient kind of locale. So I think that also draws in a lot of demand. And Woodleigh, I would say, if you look at the whole Singapore map, it actually brings in a lot of demand from the north side as well as the northeast side. A lot of times when our clients come for consult and they say that they want to upgrade, a lot of them also choose to sort of like congregate within this Woodleigh Potong Pasir area. So it brings in a lot of demand from both sides as well.
Yeah, this is the onset of a city fringe address.
Yeah.
Also, and I think it's also because of all the BTO and the MOP BTOs plus the performance of the MOP HDB prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has created a lot of liquidity. I saw in some of your slides, Joanne, you put the liquidity event. Maybe you want to share a little bit about that.
So the liquidity event actually ties back to our first initial stage, because when we think about like residential versus commercial, one of the key factors is also about liquidity. If in the event throughout my say 20, 30 years of like property investment, if in the event my businesses need some funds, my family needs some funds in case of emergencies, I want to be ensured that whatever assets I'm holding on to, there's an ease of exit. There is some liquidity, because the whole purpose of property investments is also to allow us to have that potential to appreciate in value and to have the ease of exit should we need it. We may not choose to or need to exit now, but when the time comes and we need it, I think the ease of exit is very important. And I think liquidity is also very crucial as well. Demand and supply. Is the demand for that particular segment really strong? Are there a lot of people looking at that particular segment as well? So here we actually have a chart. It basically shows the data from 2024. How are the various sector performing based on the transaction volume? You can look at the purple bar. That's all the residential. And you can see that naturally, residential always takes up a huge chunk in terms of the transaction volume by sector across the years as well. And if you look at like industrial, commercial, usually they take up a smaller chunk. So transaction volume is also important because this shows the activity, the participation in the market. When I need to exit, there must be buyers. Because if I don't have buyers when I need to exit, then there may be a case that I may be kind of like feeling stuck in the property as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yong Zhun, I saw that you have an option about resi versus industrial.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we touch on that as well. Then we come back.
Okay, can.
So this is option number 1, right? Strategy 1 that Joan showed.
Correct. Actually, it can be also for strategy 3 lah. I think I just bring out this property first, which is at Henderson Road, right? So for Darren wise, if he's so strategy 1 was that he will buy a residential property first, and then to buy, he'll continue to save, right? And then he'll continue to save, and then once he has sufficient amount, he can buy a second property, which is a commercial/industrial property. Right, and then eventually the third move would then be he will need to hold on to these 2 properties, and then eventually once it's accumulated, and then he will sell both, and then to move to a next stronger asset, which can be possibly a landed home. So I presume that his holding period for the second property, which is a commercial one or industrial one, would be roughly around 10 odd years. So if you're holding for 10 odd years, because in industrial properties in Singapore, it's either a 30-year lease or a 60-year lease. And majority of the 60-year leases, I feel they are reaching very close to the 30-year mark. So I think that's one milestone that a lot of people need to know, that once it reaches the 30-year mark, the loan portion might be a bit more difficult to obtain lah. So I would say that I would suggest a freehold property, but of course at a lower quantum, so that while he hold on to this property for the next 10 years, his rental must be able to cover at least the interest, the property tax, and the MCST fees lah. Then I think it's worthwhile to hold on to it. If he decides to go to an even lower quantum, but it could possibly be a 60-year lease property, in 10 years' time, it might drop to less than 30 years, which I think then it might pose him a lot of danger to offload. Yeah, so I think that's why I suggested this. Of course, there are some Henderson Road, right? So there are some freehold properties that's actually more expensive than these. It can be near Mandai, right? The range is probably like 1.3 million to 1.5 million. Of course, the size is bigger, but if you vis-a-vis the rental that you collect for a bigger industrial unit, it doesn't really make sense because the rental might be around 3 to less than 3.5%. If you select this at 1 odd million, your rental is lower, but your rental yield might be higher. Yeah, correct. So which is why I suggested this lah.
It's a low quantum play lah.
Correct, low quantum play for freehold property.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much is the rental?
The rental asking is around 3.7. Asking
installment.
Yeah. Installment
can
should
cover.
Installment should be able to cover. No, I don't think it can be able to cover all. Yeah.
Because tenor will be shorter lah.
Tenor will be shorter,
20 plus. Okay. So might have to top up a little bit because of MCST or that kind of stuff.
Correct. And then this is also must take into account that he owns a residential first. So his income must be able to sustain both mortgages, both the residential and the industrial. So, and then of course there's 2 property taxes and then there's 2 MCST fee that he has to take into account.
I think this freehold component also is like banging on the fact that there could be better capital appreciation, even for the industrial property plus. Maybe one day if the plot ratio changes, there could be like en bloc opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's technically, there's no new industrial properties launches that are like freehold compared to the past. I mean, nowadays there are some, but usually it's for like food hubs and all that. But they're not cheap as well. PSF can be quite high, 2,000 plus, 3,000 PSF. Most of our launches will be 30 years industrial property. So I think freehold is definitely something that you guys can look at as well. Joan, I saw some like capital appreciation charts that you have.
Yeah. So actually this one was talking about like industrial freehold, right? Yeah, so I put out some charts. I think this is just to illustrate that sometimes even though for commercial industrial, the freehold tenure seems to be very, very attractive. RCR location, District 13. But if you look at some of the performance, since launch in 2012, the average PSF was at about, this was at 600 plus, close to about 700. And then fast forward 13 years later, right now they're still trending at about 800, 900 plus. So sometimes when it comes to properties like that, you may also find that the holding period tends to be kind of dragged out because no owner entering at around 600 plus will want to sell at this kind of PSF as well. Right. Yeah, so they may have to hold super, super long. I think maybe they see it as kind of like a rental game. They have the rental income coming in to pay down the mortgage. But back end, as what we always say, we also want to ensure that our money is working stronger. We are putting our funds into the next stronger asset. So in terms of like choice of property wise, I think it will be something that we have to really pay close attention to. Yeah. So like 2013 bought at 947K. This was the same unit lah. Then similar size. Then 2025 so at 1.18 as well. Yeah, so sometimes the appreciation, may take a longer time to materialize.
Will you guys buy like a one bedder nowadays to like just rent out if you're a single person, just for investment purpose? It's not for stay lah, so there's no utility need. It's just for stay. Will you do that? Let's
say my budget can only afford a one bedder. I would be open to that. I would want to identify a project that has still a good momentum in terms of the pricing appreciation. And I can be that one bedder riding on the overall PSF growth of the project.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think in that sense, the rental income definitely must be sufficient to at least cover my interest, MCST fee and all that.
1 million can buy a one bedder, no?
Can.
Resale.
Can.
A lot of choices, right? 800K also have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So will you buy like 800K one bedder?
There must be a strong, for me, my criteria would be there must be like a strong capital appreciation momentum in the whole project. Then even though I'm a one bedder, I can ride on that capital appreciation growth. Because like a case in point, if you look at like Sims Urban Oasis, actually their 1-2 bedders are also riding on the overall price appreciation
one
of the
bedder
bigger 3-4 bedders. Probably 1.1 mil.
1 mil.
1 mil.
Yeah. Okay.
Around 1 mil. But I think the key indicator would be the yield that I get back.
Right.
Right. It's not just the rental yield, but more on the return on the equity that I put in. Of course, every month there will be this cash flow that I need to fork out because of the outgoing costs like property tax, your MCST fees, and of course you have to manage the tenant. So I might be looking at because I think vis-a-vis other forms of investments, people can put into at $1 million. They can put into stocks, right? A blue chip stock. They can put into a REIT, right? But of course, those you don't really get to leverage on. But of course, with the one bedder wise, there's a lot of management that you have to do with the tenant and all that lah. So I think it really depends on what are you looking for. In terms of capital position wise, one bedder for you to forecast that if I know that the project is doing well, but sometimes it might be attributed to other bedder types. So I would set a very low benchmark in terms of my capital position. So I would think that if I can break even, right, when I sell it, maybe in 3 to 5 years time, then I will be okay with it lah. But I will still pick, other forms of investment lah. Maybe not one bedder.
Sims Urban one bedder is below 900K. Will you guys buy?
Actually, if I can stretch my budget a bit to like 1.1, 1.2, I might buy a 2 bedder OCR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the gains are still quite strong. So I have this next slide, right? I just sold a 2-bedder OCR for my seller. 2 beds, 2 baths, 753 square feet. 6 months later, so I sold this unit, level 11.
Okay, this is a 2-bedder.
2 bed, 2 bath, 753 square feet. OCR, walkable to MRT and all that. All the mode analysis checked already. So 1.15. Within 6 months, level 2, so that's 9 floors lower, sold 50k higher than me. So if I just want a project, I can see that from this trending, 6 months, there's already like a 50k paper. Let's say 1 year, 100k. Within 3 years, I can already cover my ROE. Yeah, and that's a 2 bed, 2 bath within walking distance to MRT. New project. Relatively new, TOP 2017. And the whole
Seems urban.
No, this is not Sim. This is OCR.
OCR, okay.
OCR, 2 bed, 2 bath.
Okay,
Yeah.
1.2. Okay, actually now since urban 2 bed, 1 bath also 1.2, right?
Which is I think like one of the cheaper RCR 2 bed, 1 bath.
Yeah.
Already. Yeah.
Okay, then 2 bed, 2 bath is like, there's a lot
Should
of
be
2 bed,
about
1 bath also.
1.5, 1.6.
Oh, 2 bed, 2 bath is a significant difference. Okay, let's have a look at the numbers a little bit. Because there's like 1 bedder for 850k, right? Then okay, we'll go to the charts a little bit.
Okay.
Just to decipher for this buyer lah. You help me with the mortgage calculator. Okay, this is 1 bedder. Seems about Oasis 850,000. Assuming this for Darren, he can take a 30 years loan. 2.5%. Monthly installment is about 2,006, right? If I'm not wrong, 25 something.
2518.
2518 lah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's 2518. Actually, the rental is not too bad. I mean, there's some transactions at about 3,000 plus. Let's take it as 3,001 lah. Or maybe just be safe 3,000. Okay. 2 bed, 1 bath is 1.2 million. What would be his monthly installment?
3.3556.
3,556 per month. Rental? Then Yong Zhun, how many calculate 2 bed, 2 bath? 1.5 million.
Okay.
How much is monthly?
1.5 million is 4,445.
4,445. Okay. Then rental?
Sims Urban, 2-bedder rental. Right now, they're asking, I would say about like
2 bed, 1 bath transacted.
2 bed, 1 bath.
I feel that there's like a tipping point. If let's say Darren is using all cash, just for simple calculation and no CPF, I feel that there's a tipping point in terms of like the utilization of the down payment. So let's just take like 25% down payment plus, we just, for simplicity's sake, we don't have to tier the BSD lah, like, 4%, 5%, 6%. We just name it as 5%. So 25 plus 5% will be like 30% for down payment as well as all the stamp duty and legal fees and stuff. So that means 850k, Darren will have to fork out 255k of down payment, and we just assume this down payment plus BSD is this amount in all cash. So if it's like a 2 bed, 1 bath, what's the rental?
2 bed, 1 bath will be about 3,738.
3,700, okay. How about 2 bed, 2 bath?
I think based on the transacted data, because they lump it all together, I think about 4.1, 4.2.
4.1, 4.2. Okay. And then if it's so this will be 450,000. Okay, so assuming let's say Darren pump in all cash, 255k to buy this, 360k to buy this, 450k to buy this, 30% down payment plus BSD lah, right? Yong Zhun, let's say if somebody would buy REITs today, how many percent? 6-7% plus minus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Around 6-7%.
Okay, let's calculate 7%. I mean, some REITs pay up to 9%, right? Okay, let's just put 7%. 7%, how much can this generate annually? 255k times 7%.
Compound or no?
Just
Simple interest.
simple interest.
17,850.
Then divide by 12.
1487
1487 per month,
per
right?
month. Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? 360 times 7%, then divide by 12.
2100.
This one?
450.
Yeah.
2625.
Okay, so I think the moment we remove utility value, that means you're not buying this to stay, then it has to be math already. It has to be math in terms of sustainability and maintenance of this investment property in terms of your yield, because you need to fight for 3 years to surpass your sales stamp duty. And you need to remember there's two components. Is that number one, this 3 years, what is your holding cost and your yield? Number two is that this 3 years, after 3 years from 2025 to 2028, this asset that you have pumped in your down payment plus buyer stamp duty, what is the potential in terms of appreciation? Because you need these 3 years for appreciation to happen so that you can create your next liquidity event, right? So we call it the liquidity event, that this asset that you have invested the 30% here to turn it into something that allows you to exit, take back your initial investment, plus create a liquidity event for profit so that you can go and buy something that is stronger. We call it the next stronger asset, NSA, right? So, but then when it comes to this portion here, things will not make sense if 3 years later, this thing doesn't appreciate. And it ended up in a perspective whereby on a month-to-month basis, you have to top up just to hold this asset that doesn't appreciate. So that's what we have always been talking about. The moment you buy something that does not appreciate, technically speaking, these 3 years will be a futile effort. Because if you were to take that same amount of money and put into REITs, technically speaking, this is a hassle-free process. You don't have to do anything to generate 1487 passive income per month. You technically don't have to do anything. Because over here, let's say for this, actually for this, I think the yield is good, right? From a point of view that 3,000 minus 2,518, you still have balance.
Yeah.
You should be able to cover your MCST plus a bit of your property tax. But of course, as a landlord, there are things to fix and you have to pay agent fees and all that kind of stuff, right? So this one may be still very sustainable. Okay. Now this one, 37 minus here, basically you left about $100 over, rental less your installment. Then you definitely have to top up for MCST. You have to top up for property tax. You have to top up for your agency fees. This one, you definitely have to top up a lot more as well, because this is not sufficient. It's already negative $345. Then plus your MCST, maybe $300, plus your property tax, maybe you put another $200 per month. You still have to pay like agency fees. Then all in, I think you have to top up about 1K per month, right? So from a pure investment point of view, unless you're confident that this guy can appreciate into 2028, and let's say, for example, by 2028, if it's like 1.75 mil or something, then you can exit. There's like a healthy portion of appreciation, then I think it will make sense. But if you're not confident, then you need to do more analysis and study. But if it's utility, that means you need to stay. For example, you buy this, you stay in one room, you rent out the other one to substantiate the monthly installment, then it might make sense. All right. But pure yield perspective, I'm not saying that since urban overseas won't appreciate. I'm just saying that you have to deep dive a bit into the potential as well. All right. Anything you guys want to top up in terms of this?
I think like as a single buyer, the other thing that you also want to take note is based on your income right now, based on the current stress test and the current TDSR, actually at like 10K, you can loan up to that 1.15 mil. And if we project your income growth at, let's say, about 10%, because I think Darren is in tech industry, it's quite a healthy and thriving sector. If we project like about 10% growth per year, technically speaking, within 5 years, you may be also able to loan up to about 1.78 and you could afford about 2.3. However, if there's any like changes in the cooling measures and all that, if we want to delay our entry into the property market investment, any change in the TDSR, you can see that immediately your loan amount will just drop. Yeah. Currently, our TDSR is at 55%. If it drops down to 50%, then you will see that overall there's a 9% drop in your property value that you can afford. Of course, as the years increase and your income increases, any changes in the TDSR will be even more detrimental. So As opposed to 1.2, now we can only loan about 1 mil. And this is just one component of the cooling measure that's happening. TDSR is one effect. The other effect that could also happen is the changes in the bank stress test rate. So if let's say we choose to keep the TDSR constant and we just look at the effect of the changes in stress test rate, just by an adjustment of the stress test rate upwards, again, your loan affordability is bumped down. Your property value that you can afford is also being reduced by 14%. And these are all like, we're analyzing these cooling measures in silo. There could also be an effect where maybe 2 cooling measures happen at the same time in the next span of like 10 years, we don't know. And if that also happens, then as someone who is earning a lot, doing well, actually your income career is doing well, but because of this cooling measure, because we choose to delay our entry, we may be sort of like shortchanging ourselves as well. Yeah.
Okay, great. I think this is a great table. Anyway, Yong Zhun and Joan, we have part 2 of this episode because usually for every profile, we'll do 2-part series. Okay. I think part 2, what I want to discuss is like, what if Darren goes ahead to be like maybe your friend that has already sort of set his mind that he'll wait until 35 buy a HDB. But of course, if you buy a resale HDB, 5 years later, then he can sell, right? By the time he can sell, he's 40 years old. We want to study different permutations. Like sometimes single buyers, they go for HDB first, but halfway they got married. Then the other partner also got a HDB. Then what happens, right? They have 2 HDB. Then number 2 is that, let's say, for example, they purchase a prior property first. Then their potential partner actually owns a HDB at 35 years old. Then halfway they got married. Then what happens? And what are some strategies that they can actually capitalize and all that? So we'll come back for part 2 with Yong Zhun and Joan again to really deep dive for our single buyers and single investors out there. So do stay tuned for the next episode while we see you. All right, take care.
I thought we're shooting the part 2 together.
Together?
Are
What
we?
do you mean together?
No
Is it like now?
Okay.
Oh, you thought we'll continue now?
I thought we continue, then you end it, then we continue.
Okay. You still got any points you want to top up?
No. Okay, can.